You might remember from last week that we discussed the Praetors releasing the official Chris Chan Sonichu medallion. It currently sits on the Etsy store with 2 5-star reviews and 171 sales. If we generously assume that it takes an entire $4 pack of Crayola Model Magic to make, and that the paint required to paint on the eyebrows and the eyes is $1 per necklace, that means that they are making $20 per sale. With 171 sales at $20, they have made $3,420. Nice. The only 5-star review with any words states, very good and pristine condition. That's a load of nonsense. Keeping in mind that over 20 people have this in their cart, and that is a lot of money. We're now going to jump on over to Chris's Twitter. We begin with Twitter user Mr. Simplistic, who is someone that I have never heard of before, but apparently they have their own Sonic plus Pikachu OC. They start, "To Chris Chan, good day to all. I have come to a conclusion, for whatever reason, about the difference between the electric hedgehog Pokemon of Chris Chan and the Zaphogs of Mr. Simplistic, me. So I'm holding a Q&A in the comments. Come and ask why. Come and ask away." Chris is of course very angry about this development of other electric hedgehog Pokemon. The big difference being our respective origin dimensions. We, the OG electric hedgehog Pokemon, he's speaking as Sonichu here obviously, are from here and C197, along with the likes of Tony Stark, Bruce Wayne, Darkwing Duck, Ash Ketchum, Sonic, Mario, and so on. The dimension you're accessing, dude, is mistakenly narrow-minded and even more tunnel-visioned compared to Mama Christine's tunnel vision associated with her former autism. That is actually being healed in this noggin as we speak. Chris thinks his autism is being healed? What? You can't heal autism, you had 20 years before and you'll still have 20 years after. Yeah, that's a new development. By what claim did I ever say that either of our properties resided in the same dimension? Nothing. I was warming up the topic with the Captain Obvious reminder. And it's not so much properties, as they are discoveries on your part of pre-existing interdimensional beings. I may have been born a Pichu, but I have learned, and know a bunch of valid and strong words. Sonichu's learning some new words, getting new vocabulary, and Chris is healing his own autism. For some reason on this thread, John decides to post a picture of his Sonichu medallion. This looks even worse than this. Somehow. Chris says, right on. You rock it with pride, friend. Thank you, Sonichu. Wish Christine well for me if you have any contact with her. And Chris says, she hears your prayers of her health and being, and she thanks you kindly. It's kind of disturbing that Chris now thinks that his autism is going to be healed. Mr. Simplistic says, the electric hedgehog Pokemon are your thing. Zaphogs are my thing. End of story. Chris says, oh, getting defensive, are we? Look, dude, all I was doing was stating facts from our perspective. You have every right to post what you know of the Zaphogs from your perspective. Just don't be surprised if you find more similarities than differences between them and us. At least Sonichu is the main character of my comic, Little Miss Second Fiddle. This is of course in reference to Chris having himself be the main character of the Sonichu comics for multiple issues. Chris says, granted, Chris got carried away with herself in the past. She is making up for it and catching up Mach speed fast like light. Insults don't work so well with mine and these mental self-defenses. The only relative petty insult you can make is on yourself, dude. So Chris says that insults don't work on him right after he, for no reason, accuses Mr. Simplistic of getting defensive. Now, Bobbles decides to ask a question that I think we all would like to know the answer to. What are Zaphogs? A Zaphog is a subspecies of hedgehog that broke off and evolved to not only have a more anthro-like body, but also is able to generate an electric current through its back quills. Chris, or Sonichu, says, we can generate electricity through our quills too, as well as our hands, our ears, our facial cheeks, more than half the time when we do, and even downward through our feet when need be. The electrical base attacks work more as a charge ability than an actual everyday attack. What? Other than that, they have to attack by other means. Who cares? See, listen, it's funny. It's funny when Chris and Jacob Sockness go on their little arguments against each other where they're trying to figure out whose OC is actually the most powerful. Because they're both idiots. This guy's just baiting Chris, and I don't know, I just don't think it's as funny. It's kind of sad. Oh, so they can't perform a Thunderbolt, Electrified Spin Dash, or a Thunder Punch? They have to stick with plain spin dash, mega punch, drop, and regular kicks and such all-out pummeling with that Z crystal? I want my characters to at least use other means of figuring out how to solve a situation, rather than just use some OP superpowers. That's cool, I respect that, but then they do level up, and then their attack becomes OP whether you like it or not. I think it means whether you like it or not. Okay, but they'll suffer for doing so. Not with the divine protection of our Christian Sonichu, who protects us all and our self-counterparts interdimensionally. For too long, we've all had to suffer by the toxic thoughts of the haters of this dimension outside of C-197, but no more. You will see. No, unlike your Sonichus and Rosechus, mine will be scared? Scared. Yeah, scared by their abilities, okay. No, unlike your Sonichus and Rosechus, mine will be scared by their abilities, showing that their OP powers will cost them dearly. In other words, you're purposefully undermining them? That's about as bad as what Putin does to the Russians. Watch out, Sonichu, your father's autism is starting to bleed through, because that was one of the most retarded comparison statements I have ever saw posted. I mean, he's not wrong. Epona's Uwu says, the romantic Mewtwo and Magichan. First time drawing Mewtwo, so sorry. Next picture of these two should involve Christian, I think, and it's Mewtwo and Magichan, and they're doing some good hugs. And Chris says, I like it, but not to nitpick. Of course. Chris has never seen a fan art that he didn't immediately nitpick. The head quills need to look more male-level normal, since you're going for the OG Magichan. Also, the high heels, that's not his normal style in this timeline and dimension pair at 1218 and C197. Aside from that, you did a really nice job drawing Mewtwo. For the most part, a very good art piece. Thank you for the effort. Didn't Chris literally say the other week that Magichan likes cross-dressing? Someone named Bulma Bunny Girl, who probably makes Sonic videos, says, blooper, and then this is part of their video, and like these characters are talking. And Chris decides he's gonna, draw attention to this person unnecessarily. That was a fun video. I agree, especially like Sonic World DX would be cooler with Team Sonica. It would be just as cooler, if not shockingly better, with us Sonichus and Rosechus zapping it up all day with y'all. And rocks are awesome, not just the magic one. Hashtag rocks need love. So Chris wants to be part of this person's fanfic. And it seems like it's just a cross-gender swap of Sonic. The official Sonic World DX Twitter account responded to Chris and said, sorry, Sonic World and Sonic World DX only takes from the main timeline of Sonic. No classic Boom forms or other media characters or forms will be added. This also includes fan characters. Bulma says, I wasn't expecting anyone to put my OCs in the game. And Chris says, we enjoyed playing the demo of DX as well. I'm working on learning about modding. Starting from Blender 3D frag motion is more complicated, and yet it was used to convert the mod designed in Blender into the B3D format for Sonic World DX R9. A headache not being able to open the B3D model file in Blender, but I'm looking into conversion software. I have a retextured mod for Blake with the voice clips from him, personally, but for some reason, Cirrus Fire thought it well to use the texture area for the ear tip for the nose, so until when I do go public with it, it has a red nose, and Blake does not have a red nose, nor does he have a cold or any virus, just saying. Does that mean that Blake is gonna drive Santa's sleigh? And speaking of Sonic World DX R9, I was thinking of eventually working with an expert modder to make stages involving Quickville and its surroundings. The mall and the park would make for a pretty good treasure hunting stage, inside the mall and out. On that note, you know what else would make for good stages? A run through Charlottesville, Virginia, from Forest Lakes to the downtown mall's pavilion, with all those path options. The University of Virginia grounds would also make great treasure hunting area. And pretty much anywhere else in this dimension that is local. That's local to Chris? Or does he mean that this dimension is local? We have such levels of these areas in various games in C197, and they are awesome fun. For you all, you can make, like, with the cars suddenly abandoned due to half of everyone suddenly going superhero costumes and getting a start on their powers, excuse me? And everyone else absent in having to cope with it all in confusion. And the likes of Eggman and Bowser sending in their troops through a portal from C197 to take advantage of the situation. But little does he know, we all have made the trek between dimensions, and we're all taking out their pawns and going for them and their artillery this dimension's military is unable... What? We're all taking out their pawns and going for them, and their artillery this dimension's military is unable to fully take out and down. What? I'm rather surprised the modding community hasn't done this with the available maps and location tourism and all that. Get on it, dudes! Also, we're not really fond of post-apocalyptic and apocalyptic and... So don't go there, okay? Please and thanks. Just my 3 bolts for now. So he's saying, why, with all the stuff available to modders, why haven't they made a mod of Sonic where he goes to the University of Virginia and fights Bowser? Also, I do have to say that this dimension's military can totally take out threats from other universes. Duh, just watch the Monster Hunter movie. Remember back to when Chris said that petty insults don't work on him? Well, he says now, I've come to realize that this is the most potent and viable comeback ever said to anyone, especially to any hater or bad individual type. Telling them that insults don't work on you is the best comeback ever, okay. Insults don't work against me. The only relative petty insults you can make is on yourself. Chris has just discovered, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. He's almost 40. So to all of you haters and bad types in this dimension, your insults and crass don't work on us. The only insults that have any effect at all are those you make on yourselves, haters and bad trolls. Mr. Simplistic noticed Chris's tweet that I just read and says, I made you butthurt that bad? And Chris says, the only one butthurt was you. Work on your self-insult comedy routine, dude. Chris has now discovered no you. Chris had already done that on herself years ago in hating herself and getting that ventilation done and over with. And I've accepted and moved beyond my major flaws from when I was holding that gun during those months. With the idea, guys. What? Haters, bads, and hazers got nothing on us. So Chris hated himself, and his response to hating himself was to just decide that he had no flaws. I get it. Okay. All I wanted was to have a separate property with my Zap Hog thing, but instead, you insisted that it's an alternate universe from your thing, and insult me from doing something original with your half-baked character ripoffs. You did the same thing with Rose Chew and Asper Chew. And Chris says, you do what you want. I was giving you warning to the bite of major karma that will bite you back in inhibiting the Zap Hogs. Taking the literal electricity zap out of them is cruel and unusual. In response to Chris saying that he doesn't care about insults, this person says, and yet your replies are turned off. And Chris responds with a gif of Jerry laughing and pointing, which I can't comprehend what he means by that. Thanks for the acknowledgement, you really do care. And Chris says, yes, we do, to an extent. And he said the word care, so it's the Care Bears. And that's why your haters will always be well-fed and hungry for more. By the way, when is the merge? I'll let you be surprised and confused when it happens. Never gonna happen. He always retcons it. And Chris says, you too. You can be surprised and confused when it happens. Don't say we didn't warn you. I think I'll be dead, sad face. Or you could be dressed in a Sailor Scout outfit and still alive. Hashtag twist of fate. Hashtag Krakow. So you pretty much gave up on the predictions because they always ended up being lies? Good to know. Nope, your mind is moot and your logic is wrong. Your entire mind is moot, guys. Now we have some more fan art, this time of Asper Chew. Master of the 7 Chaos Pickles, wielder of the power of God Jesus and the one true hero to save the day, the Great Asper Chew, from the multiple award-winning comic series created by Alec Benson Leary, definitely not a parody of Chris Chan's Sonichu, Sonic the Hedgehog Pokemon. And Chris says, sarcasm is the voice tone in your tweet, but sincere and kind is the gift I have received from a fan and friend of ours, Markers and Pickle Candy. Pickle Barrel Kumquat, Chimichuranga. And that is Pickle Rick. So I guess Chris's hatred of pickles does not extend to pickle-shaped candy. Okay, so this next entire rant is going to be based on the fact that Chris was kicked out of the Sonic World DX whatever Discord server because he stole mods. I'm going to guess that he took somebody's like their 3D file, right? Their mod, and he just imported it into his own 3D model program to try to turn it into Sonichu. Not entirely sure, but that's the only thing I can really think of, because there's not much details on this, even on the quickie. So keep that in mind while I'm reading this. Hey everyone, I'm setting a record straight with these assumptions of mod stealing. I am not doing such a thing at all. I was still giving the author and staff original credits on the Sonichu mod, and they were flattered. And I admit, I took a step too far with the Human Chris Chan mod, but I still gave D4 the credit on that page. I also admit I likely have been under a misconception. I mean, still a touchy subject, I get it. I could go on about that, but others have done so before me like Mad Munchkin, and Chris and I agree with her on the details when it comes to art theft and all of that. I, Sonichu Prime, and this body and brain of Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu are presently learning and exploring the 3D modeling programs of Blender and Fragmotion. So, eventually, we can personally mod it up of our own abilities. But it still takes time to learn the odds and ends of the program's features, the conversion app, so on the future Sonichu mods, we don't have to start from scratch every time. And I get it, simple recolors and new voice recordings aren't enough to satisfy your quills, nitpicks, and criticisms. Freaking haters! I agree, Chris Chan Sonichu's form is female, and so it should have the breasts and the heart-shaped ended tail. Magi-chan has an additional point on each ear, and he looks almost naked without his vest. And the biggest qualms I have are the results pose and the skill set. Nothing wrong with either of them, but Sonic Wind and Whirlwind are more appropriate for Angelica Rosechew. The skill set should have the Thundershock, Discharge, and Volt Tackle, or at the least, add electricity animations into the attack animations when the attack happens. I've looked into the skill sets available in R9, found they stop at value 44 before repeating the default one skill set onward. And the pose. A finger gun is okay for some, but that's not really my kind of pose. I take what I can get, and I am sincerely grateful and appreciative of the work Cirrus Fire and Sactree put into the mod, the icon art, the original voice acting, which that is now in the shiny Sonichu mod and will still be there after the later edits are updated to it, complete with a unique pose for it. I genuinely loved the Sonichu mod for Sonic World DX R8 and R9 when I discovered, downloaded, installed, and played it and enjoyed it. Obviously, Cirrus put in many hours of work figuring out the tail and ears and everything else with it. Unlike a certain other top Sonic OC, whose mods are simply Sonic recolors, nothing personnel, Cirrus put in his 3 bolts of effort and work into that, and I am very grateful. Not everyone gets that treatment. Tailsco's Sonic World mod could really use that second tail, and a proper tail propeller and flight animation, and Shadina could use the Chaos Spear animations for using Skill Set 5 without resulting in a memory access violation and closing the game. But as Chris would say, I digress. Take a shot. I sincerely apologize for coming off as erroneously mod thieving, and I am still learning and figuring this out. Cut me some slack, please. I was born a Pichu in the wild, had to grow up quick, and had in early 2003, and worked very hard and tough with Rosie and the others defending Quickville, helping out the rest of the Earth, checked out other dimensions and timelines and so on in missions, and presently still talking with you all from within Chris Chan's body after 8.5+ months since the body swap last March. Thank you. Jesus Christ, this is one sentence. I'm still learning and figuring this out. So I'm assuming he means like, oh, yo, the mod community, art theft, stuff like that. And his excuse is that he was born a Pichu. One last thing. At least I was able to share fresh recorded dialogue direct from Chris and Magi-chan, personally as an impromptu Christmas gift for all of you. Be somewhat grateful for that at least. It could have been as bad as PC's Sonic 06, the future remake will be better. I wonder if they are going to ever remake Sonic 06. I wonder if they could make it good. It is not every day, before a few days ago, you can hear Chris shout, Leroy Jenkins, or tell Jule Blue Spike to shut up, or even reference the old Watch and Win interview with, well, they put my name in a hat and I just won. Be grateful, stop hating, hazing, and bad-mouthing us, okay? It's a mess, Sonichu face. P.S. The dimension merge is still happening. Good luck with your own confusion in the heart of the moment. Good luck with your own confusion in the heat of the moment. Be safe. Do not say we didn't warn you. Oh god, he's entering the angry phase. He does this every couple months, and obviously Jacob does this constantly. Okay, Project S&T is doing this, like, knockoff, Pokemon Advent Calendar. This is a Slack-Off with Pikachu colors. Behold, the babyest Slack-Off in existence. Pika-Off. Not Slackachu. And that is the end of this week's Chris Chan Weekly Update. I have been your host, GiBi, and we will be back next week after Christmas. Thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at GIBI_Devin, and I will have much more Chris Chan content coming up in the new year. I'm going to have a special new segment called a Story Time with GiBi, where I will be reading Sonichu vs. SNT. That's going to be a lot of fun for you. It sucks to read. I hate it.